Well, as we just mentioned, fire crews have been busy north and east of the city as they battle a significant wildfire in cottage country. The blaze is burning across 27 hectares in Burnt River. That's an area in Kawartha Lakes. That's roughly the size of about 50 football fields. Officials say evacuations are not necessary at this time, but a total burn ban is in effect and conditions are being closely monitored. Dry conditions are complicating the firefighting efforts and putting a strain on resources. And water bombers have been helping crews by targeting the most active fire zones from the air. Authorities say the fire is burning in a heavily wooded area with hazardous terrain that makes deploying hoses challenging. Residents and visitors are being urged to avoid the Burnt River area. Now, this has been the second worst wildfire season on record in Canada, with blazes burning in every province, burning a combined area roughly the size of the province of New Brunswick. CTV's Scott Hurst live this morning with more on this. I mean, that's a staggering, thing to put into perspective, that the entire province of New Brunswick, Scott, has been burning. But where were some of the wildfire hotspots in the country this past weekend?
Good morning, Nick. As you mentioned, to put this in perspective, the sad reality of the wildfire situation right now is that you take a map of Canada, you throw a dart, hit pretty much any province, and you're likely to be quite close to a concerning wildfire. You mentioned the fires burning in the cottage country in the Kawartha Lakes area, but really this is a concern across the country from coast to coast. If we go all the way out to the east coast, there are significant wildfires that are burning in Newfoundland that have forced people out, that have destroyed homes. There are some 3,000 people are under mandatory evacuation order in Newfoundland for two fires that are burning in the Avalon Peninsula, including about 1,500 households being forced out. And so that is a significant concern, as the one fire in Newfoundland, the Kingston fire in the Conception Bay North area, is just shy of 50 square kilometers. You go all the way to the other side of the country. On the west coast, British Columbia is dealing with about 100 fires across the province, including one that is still growing and still classified as out of control on Vancouver Island, north of the Nanaimo, the Wesley Ridge fire. It's close to 6 square kilometers. So you put it into perspective for the larger wildfire season, Nick. As you mentioned, right now already considered the second worst fire on record, with some 73,000 square kilometers that have burned. And it is just a devastating wildfire season. And putting it into a broader perspective, the last 3 fire seasons, Nick, are all in the top 10 worst on record.
Not a trend that we want to see continue, Scott, but nevertheless, it's happening. The big question, I suppose, is there any forecasted end in sight for this year's wildfire season, or is the country just going to keep burning?
At this point, the concerning aspect is that the country will likely keep burning at least for several more weeks, and that is where we're still expecting these hot, dry conditions to continue. So looking ahead, the predictions for the rest of the summer won't bring much comfort. The federal government, for its response, has forecast above normal temperatures to persist in many areas at least through August, meaning these drought-like conditions will only intensify for many areas across the country. 2 provinces in particular so far this wildfire season, Manitoba and Saskatchewan, they have the total more than half of the area burned across the country. And so really it has been focused a lot on the prairie provinces, Nick. But as we mentioned, we've seen a lot of wildfires in really northwestern Ontario, now coming down more into southern Ontario, as well as you mentioned the fire in the Kawartha Lakes area. But then, as we highlighted, fires burning, forcing people out of their homes on each end of the country, with us here in Ontario also facing the concern of fires, but we've also been heavily impacted by smoke for many weeks as well.
Yeah, we really have, that's for sure. If you're not burning, you're sort of feeling the aftermath of it indeed. CTV's Scott Hurst. Scott, appreciate this morning. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Nick.
All right.